Viewers, it's getting to that sort of time in the Football Manager cycle where really cool, interesting and unique databases are starting to be released. And of course, now is no different with the recently released 0102 custom database made by TheMadScientistFM, which will be in the description if you do want to download it. I thought I would give a little tutorial on how to install these sort of databases. So stick around, short but sweet. I'm about to show you how to install custom databases. Now, of course, the first thing you are going to need to do is find a custom database that you do like, and you're going to have to find the download link for that database. Now, for me, the example I'm going to use today is going to be the 0102 database made by the Mad Scientist FM. And to download this, you need to go onto his Twitter, which of course be in the description below. Now, you have 3 ways to get the file. You can either download it on Steam, save game file, or the FMF file. Now, for me, I'm going to go for the FMF file, which is a media file. It will take you to this screen here where you can download it. I'm going to quickly skip and download it, and I'm going to show you where you need to put the file. Okay, so once the file is downloaded, it should take about 10 to 15 seconds, depending on how good your internet is. It's not a big file at all. You don't need any sort of software, anything to make this work. No WinRAR, anything like that. It's just a single FMF file. Now, once it's downloaded, the next thing you're going to want to do is you are going to want to drag the file to your desktop. Reason being, it just makes it easier to find when we go to our documents in just a second. Now, once that is done, it should show on your desktop. Next thing is you are going to want to go to your documents, and this is where you will find your Sports Interactive folder. Now, if you've downloaded any sort of Football Manager game, this should appear in this place. Now, it must be said that any custom databases will not work on any other Football Managers. So this custom database, for example, will not work in FM20. Any databases made in FM20 will not work in FM21. Just so if you have any intention of playing this on a previous version, it will not work. So once you're in your documents, you're going to want to go to Sports Interactive, FM21, go to your editor data. Now, there is a cap on how many files you can have in here. So if you can't find it when we set up our database in Football Manager later on, it could be that you have too many files in here. So you might need to remove some. And what you're going to want to do, really, really easy, is just drag the file into there. Simple as that, no issues. And now we can go to Football Manager and we can set ourselves up ready to get ourselves in charge of any team, really. Okay, so we're at Football Manager. We're on the home screen. The first thing that you're going to want to do is click on Start a New Game. Now, out of all these options, this will only work in a single player capacity. It will not work in a draft or any sort of multiplayer career mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Career. And now you should show up the screen. The first thing you're going to need to do is go to the top right where it says Database. It will have a pop-up. And now, depending on how many files you have in that folder, you could find it very, very easily. Or like me, I've got loads of files. You're going to have to scroll down, try and look for it. So I've already got mine ticked. So it'll come up as the 2001 02 Database Master. You need to make sure that is ticked and make sure no other files are ticked, because if you try to merge different custom databases together, they might not work unless the creators have said they work with each other. I won't risk it, because the last thing you're going to want to do is get 2 or 3 years into your save and then you realize something is messed up. So I would stick with one custom database at a time unless said otherwise. Confirm, and then you can go to Advanced Setup. And now this is the first indication that it has worked. Of course, back then, all the leagues were named differently. I think this is going to take a little second, so I will skip to it. But this will be the first indication of whether or not you have done it correctly. Okay, so once you are onto this screen, before we progress any further, we want to make sure that we have set the database up correctly and we don't accidentally get into the game and realise we've done something wrong and we have to do this entire process again. So there's one very easy way to know if you've done it correctly, and that is to look at the leagues. And what I mean by that is look at the names of them. So for me, I've started with the top 5 nations. So England, Spain, Italy, Germany, and France. I would recommend starting with that as well. And then when you get into the game, see how your computer runs, and then you can add more depending on the performance. So if we go to England, as we can see, 1st division, 2nd division, 3rd division. If we go to Spain, first division, second division, and above. Of course, they were named a lot differently back then to what they are now. So this is a good thing. This shows that the league is, the database is set up correctly. Now, in terms of your database, I would start off with a medium or large database, once again, depending on how good your PC is, so that you can get as many players in your database as possible and sign as many players as you want. So we are going to click Start Game. I'm going to click it again. Of course, this will take a little while because it is a custom database, so don't worry if it takes a few minutes. Don't panic. Just be patient and it will load. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go into the game and I'm going to show you some of the players that you are going to be able to sign potentially, and the league structures, so different teams. Let's get into it. Okay, so once you have loaded the database, you will of course be greeted with what team you want to manage. And as you can see, immediately in the Premier League, things are a little bit different. Teams in the Premier League that you probably maybe don't remember or haven't seen in the Premier League before. So the likes of Middlesbrough, Ipswich, Derby, Charlton, Bolton, Blackburn, teams that you may have not seen before. So for this, we're just going to go unemployed, management style, and we'll just start playing, and then I will quickly save it. So we'll just save it as test, if I can, test, and we'll just save it in here. So, as I said, this is based around the 0102 database. So if we have a look at some of the players that are potentially available, obviously most of the players that we're going to be looking at, or you're potentially going to be interested are big, big world stars back in the time. So the likes of Ronaldo is, of course, in the team, in the database. And as you can see from his attributes, he's absolutely fantastic. He's with the team that he was at when this database is based around, so 0102. And now I'm sure there's going to be the likes of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo that will pique interest. So Lionel Messi is in the game. He's at Barcelona. Now, you might be looking at his attributes like, he's not that good. He is only 14 years old. So you have the potential to develop Lionel Messi into potentially the best player in world football. But of course, that will be all down to you. Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's have a look at Cristiano Ronaldo. And he will be at Sporting, as you can see. Once again, he's not developed, only 16 years old, so you have the opportunity to develop him your own way. So you can do anything. Maybe Ronaldo goes to Liverpool, maybe Messi goes to Madrid. It's all up to you. And some other players, I mean, we'll have a look at some of the teams, right? If we have a look at Liverpool, as we can see, Robbie Fowler, Jamie Carragher, Steven Gerrard, Gary McAllister, Chris Kirkland, like players that you probably recognise. If we go to Arsenal, of course, Patrick Vieira, Arsene Wenger's back in charge, Robert Pires, absolutely fantastic, Richard Wright, Francis Jeffers, the fox in the box type player. And then if we go to Manchester United, of course, around this time, Arsenal and Manchester United had a pretty big rivalry. So maybe you want to take charge of that and see if you can get a few Arsenal title wins in there instead of Manchester United. Alex Ferguson, back in charge of Manchester United at 59 years old. Looking at Manchester United's team, you've got obviously Roy Keane there, who is absolutely unbelievable at 30 years old. Phil Neville, Gary Neville. You've got David Beckham, Wes Brown, Veron, Sylvester, Paul Scholes. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. Now, another thing you could do is, obviously, with England, you had sort of the golden generation of players coming through. So could you win something with what Sven-Göran Eriksson and other managers could not do, and win something with this absolutely fantastic team? It's all up to you, but if you are interested in this database, of course, it will be in the description below. I would highly recommend checking out the creator's Twitter, downloading the database and finding out all this for yourself. And of course, this method works on any custom database. It's not just the 0102 database. This works in any. So it's sort of an overall video on how to install custom databases, and very specifically to the 0102 database. And of course, that is going to bring us to the end of the video. Very small, very sort of short but sweet type video for anyone that may be struggling. And of course, take care of yourselves. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.